Good morning, good morning, good morning. The buy is coming, okay? Candle will close out. This candle, that's gonna be my buy. Test this water block. No tension, none, nothing. Just push the button. If you miss all the opportunities, gonna be missed. Body didn't close, so I don't worry about wait another. Morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm just a bit late, so just don't wanna wait time. Go for the trade. Still have to catch this run here. Here, I hope it will give that. I wish it will close above this water block and then retest the water block before. uh, It doesn't do that. It's just a bad luck because I've already missed the entry opportunity on this fair value gap. So I need the confirmed entry from the water block and just go for the trade from here. We'll see if it can the water block entry. Just don't wanna waste the first opportunity trade into this morning session. Okay, now it has validated the water block, tapped to the water block, then tap actually. It tap to the water block, I'll be in this trade. 1.5. Let's see if it can take me. I wish it will take me, but if it doesn't take me, it's bad luck. Oh, the second fair value gap. That is the fair value gap or the entry gap. first gap or the breakaway gap. Entry gap is over here. Both order block plus entry gap, both of them all together. Need to see if it can take me. There you go. Go for a partial around 1:1, and target will be here, or here I'll later that. I don't need to worry about any kind of new week opening up around this area because I have nothing. So I prefer this market will keep going higher. We'll take at least this buy side liquidity. This is below the extreme buy side liquidity. This is our short term or engineered buy side liquidity. That's the main target for right now. Can give me at least the partial, see, then we can hold the trade or not. First of all, this market has fall. Take the liquidity, trade the 50-minute bullish fair value gap. You can see that is that 15-minute bullish fair value gap has been traded over here, as well as today's new day opening gap. So market clearly trade the low of this new week opening gap, sorry, new day opening gap around here so beautifully. Give me the market structure shift. Fair value gap has been traded from 1 minute chart. Lowest down close body close candle is my order block. Validate the order block over here. At the same time, build two fair value gap. One is over here, which is the breakaway gap. Another one is here, which is the entry gap. If I are here, that could be my entry. Candle close, build the fair value gap, tap to this fair value gap. That could be my entry. Kind of this type of scenario. Here I would try it to, if I were here, okay, that could be the entry and stop loss below this area. So that candle which has built this fair value gap. Maybe you would go for 1:1 here. The partial. For taking the partial, maybe I would get stopped out to the break even around this area. As I've missed this trade, so would love to try to go with the order block here. The lowest down close body close candle, traded this fair value gap, tapped to the order block high, to the entry. Not interested to, I'm sorry, I'm not afraid to see this type of fall because I know that it can trade the mean threshold of that order block, the 50% of this order block going higher. So I'm not really worrying about this, even though this gap has been broken. This gap is some kind of gap that can be broken to retest this breakaway gap, as the breakaway gap has been retested here already. So there is no need to come back again for this breakaway gap one more time. Market doesn't need to fall. So we'll see just the mean threshold of that order block, how it is going to hold the market. The mean threshold is broken, maybe I will start to move the stop loss. The mean threshold of that order block around here, 50% of that order block can be traded. Body should not close below this. Market should start to go higher again. Fall is not good. I really don't want to see any body close below the mean. Doesn't need to trade the breakout gap one more time. However, if it keep falling and closed below this gap, I will immediately switch my bias and will take the sell for this obvious liquidity. So if it go below this fair value gap, closed below this fair value gap, I'll immediately switch my bias and will take the sell from this inverse gap for this obvious liquidity, which is not interest. I'm really didn't I didn't so I got stopped. Immediately it will close below this. We'll take the sell from this gap for this obvious liquidity, and then if it can keep falling a bit more, we'll go for that. If it doesn't retest this gap, not will miss this sell. Otherwise, go for that sell from this inverse gap until this low is not taken. Sell is valid until that low is not taken. That was absolutely just. I hope it will touch that entry, sorry, that inverse gap one more time. It do that. Go for this sell side liquid. Until this low is not taken, this sell is valid. First entry didn't work. Immediately switch the bias. Today is Friday. The mental capital preservation. So don't want to miss this sell while this obvious liquidity market is interested. First it was liquidity taken to me. Now it's kind of obvious liquidity. As the market is showing the bearishness, I would love to catch that bearishness for this obvious liquidity around here. Of course, it can trade this fair value gap before falling. There is nothing wrong, but it should work from this gap more importantly. Go for 1:1 partial. Now, if it started to go higher right now, for example, it is going higher again for this buy side liquidity. I got stopped out here. When it closed above this gap, I will have to go for the buy again. That means even though it didn't fall for this obvious liquidity, which was absolutely what to say, I mean, the kind of confirmed fall for the obvious liquidity, which market left around 9:30. If it is interested us for this buy side liquidity, it could simply reacted from that water block, could go for that buy side liquidity. It didn't do that. Instead of that, it has broken this I mean water block, not only the water block but also the breakaway gap here around this area, which has been broken. To retest this breakaway gap, I have to go for this obvious liquidity. We'll go for that obvious liquidity. For example, it didn't fall, cleared that obvious liquidity, started to go higher again. While it will close out this gap, I have to go back again for this bullish setup again for at the beginning, which I was framing. Now the problem is this is the last time of the year. It can simply keep consolidating for the whole day. It can do that as well, which is why this is low probability. But in normal time, that buy didn't work, that sell should work. It should take at least this sell side liquidity again, that it was showing me the sign that I'm falling, and I really wanted to see it will take this sell side liquidity one more time, then we'll go for this buy side liquidity. So even though I got stopped out here for the buy, I will look for the sell. Immediately I'll switch my bias for the sell. I'll go for the sell, take that sell side liquidity, I'll start to look for buy again. It should at least work like that way. If it doesn't fall, it doesn't clear the sell side liquidity, close above this gap, I have to switch for the buy again. I hope you'll understand because the situation or the time is difficult. Yesterday was holiday, Christmas. Most of the people didn't trade over here. This morning session is gonna be a bit risky to trade. Still, I think even though we didn't survive here, I think I should survive around this area. I should get at least the sell side liquidity, and then if I have any other sell side liquidity I don't have, last inverse gap, which is kind of 857. 57 could be the good target randomly. Now I'll move my stop loss from there until that week high that has traded this fair value gap. It's a very prominent week to me. I don't want to see not even a single body to close above the lower quadrant of that week. So even if it would love to go higher a bit, is acceptable. It can trade until the upper quadrant of that week. It should not close above the lower quadrant here, that line. It should not close above that lower quadrant. Love to keep it over here put my stop loss around this area because this is an intermediate term high. If this high has been shifted, that means the market has shifted to the bullish again. I don't want to see this high should be taken, and the thing I told you, the maximum it can trade until the upper quadrant, which is here. My stop loss should be safe just above that upper quadrant, but sometimes we did the damage, so I put it just above the wick of that area, and we'll see if it can close below this line, below that low around here. Gonna help me to move my stop loss to the break even. Not exactly to the break even, but at least we'll be able to cover some specific area. We'll see that if the body can close below this line, which is going to tell me that this is going to be taken, because right now around this area, this wick is also important from 15-minute chart. But here there is a very big wick. Market is right now trading the lower quadrant of the wick. I need to make sure that it's actually going to clear that low of that wick. For that, I need to see a body close below this line, which is also a liquidity taken line. So after clearing this liquidity, market would love to go higher. I'll get stopped out to the break even. I need to see a body close below this line for moving my stop loss. But it has been taken. I'm really not interested to see any kind of reaction or any kind of upper run right now after clearing that liquidity. I would love to see it will show me the speed toward that sell side liquidity. This clean lows or the obvious lows. That low has been cleared over here by a shallow run. Can't move my stop loss right now until the body doesn't close below that line. I both sided because today's uh, Friday, and after the holiday, the morning session is always tough to trade. Most of the people are interested to go for the trade around this morning session. That's just the market, that a lot of manipulation happens inside this morning session after the holiday. We have already talked a lot about this. Is absolutely logical according to the psychology, people's psychology, trading psychology. I really would love to see it's not gonna manipulate me here without manipulating the buyers here. Because if it really wanted to go for the manipulation, it could simply go from here, clear this buy side liquidity before falling. It could simply do that. As it didn't do that here, closed below this area. Remember, it's on Friday after the holiday. Just because of that, I have switched my bias and I took the sell. If it was not Friday, it was not after the holiday, I would never go for this sell. Never ever. I would wait for this market to fall until here without clearing this low, without clearing that low. I would look for a buy again. But as today is Friday and market is just trading after the holiday, I'm pretty much confident that this low is gonna be taken. So if it was not holiday, if it was not Friday, I would never go for this sell. This sell was not valid for me. The time, the situation is telling me I should have go for the sell side liquidity. So I took that sell. After taking this sell or without taking this sell side liquidity, if this market come here and closed above this gap, which is the uh, reclaimed fair value gap or say something like that, I'll go for that buy. Even I don't need to worry about this gap to be closed. If it go above this swing high, which is a intermediate term high, I'll start to look for buy again. Will clean this low. Without cleaning this low, I don't care. I'll just go for the buy. But for the sake of the situation or the time, which is after the holiday as well as the Friday, should clear this obvious liquidity. Now let's see if it can do that. I'll put it a bit below here because I'll just go for 31 handle. Previous entry was for 31 handle. I got stopped out for 31 handle. So I'm going to take the partial around 31 handle. So the body has closed below this line. Now I'm pretty much confident this low is going to be taken. Okay. My stop loss is going to be the not break even, just covering the 50% of this week. That's gonna the partial, and I'll randomly I'm moving it. I'm not bearish, I'm just randomly moving it. After taking the partial, how long I can hold this trade, okay? That's my interest to see. I'll put my stop loss above this fair value gap over here, which should work as a breakaway gap or unfilled gap. As you can see here, this candle has traded this inverse gap, highest up close body close candle, traded this candle over here, traded that candle, leaving this area so beautifully. I would love to see this is going to be an unfilled gap, an unfilled gap. And again, I don't know that where is my sell side liquidity. I have no idea. I just randomly put my target around this area, just randomly put it over there. And in the meantime, I'll keep moving the stop loss according to the price action. So this is gonna be the IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill. Market will either trade the low of this gap or just up lower quadrant of this gap before falling. It can do that. So here I have this gap which is IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill. Can maximum work with the lower quadrant of this gap. It should not even go until the equilibrium, either the low or the lower quadrant before falling. And here I can see these lows can be a good target in cleared actually. So I'm going to put my stop loss above the 50% of this gap by hoping that it's gonna fall a bit more. As you can see here, there is a gap, small gap over here, at least until this gap here from 50 minute chart. This gap, gonna mark this gap. And just don't forget, what did I say around here, how far it can trade maximum. Don't forget about that. This is the gap I'm observing. It should come at least this gap high, because this is a random level over here to me. After clearing this low, market is in the random level. I don't want to see it will reverse from this random level. At least it should go either this entry gap or the last fair value gap from 15 minute chart. Those people who are not interested, who didn't understand this here, that gaps, okay, the lower gap and the upper gap, I just marked both of them by one box here, which is entry gap plus last gap. So my target is this gap, to see if it can reach until this area. But before that, I don't want to see anybody trade the 50% of this week, because if it trade, it can keep going higher. Okay, I got stopped out over here, didn't hit it. See if it really would love to interested, keep going higher. Look for buy again if it close above this gap again, which I will use as a reclaimed gap. I was interested to use this one. Now I will use this one to take the buy again. Move to my stop loss. It should not come here. Came here means it will start to go higher. I'm just not able to frame any trade from here. The reason is this is random. I don't see any logic market to reverse from here. As the market has reversed from there, I can't frame any kind of buy over here. I have to wait either this market fall again to trade this gap going higher, or this market will leave this area and close above this gap, show me the bullishness. I'll keep going for the buy today, I mean trade today. Please don't promote funding ticks anymore. What happened with the funding ticks? I'm so frustrated with funding ticks. This with 1 minute trading rule, I can't even take profit. The market gives less than 1 minute. Okay, but Blue Guardian Futures has also 1 minute rules, right? If I'm not wrong. There's some prop from there. They have these rules, 1 minute rules. Changed the rule and applied the rule. Old trade. This is absurd. Absurd. However, we'll talk about that later, Sujivan. Okay. Right now around this area, I have no way to take the any kind of entry right now. No way. So I'll keep waiting. Remember, my real bias is not bearish. I was bullish. I tried to take this buy. Market didn't work over here. I didn't get the boom. Instead of that, I got stopped out. When I got stopped out, I explained why I changed my bias. And what is my bias? Bullish. I will go for the buy again if it provide me that opportunity. So if it go above, closed above this gap, we'll look for the buy again. This gap, some of you can use it as an inverse gap. You're welcome to do that. I'm not interested because I look for some kind of lows below the low, look for the inverse gap. As I don't see anything over here instead of the gap, I'm just not interested to use this gap as an inverse gap. So I'll let this market to fly until this gap to be used as a reclaimed gap. Again, my bias is bullish. If any of you are interested to take the buy from here, please go for that. I just need the confirmation because this is random. This is random to me. So if it was not random, there was nobody that could stop me to take the buy. It could provide me from that water block. Unfortunately, it didn't do that. I'm not able to use the water block here to take the buy. Even though it didn't give the entry opportunity from the water block, but even if it could give me the entry, I wouldn't go for this buy because this is random to me. It has a much more possibility to trade this breakaway gap and then fall for this 15-minute bullish fair value gap one more time. It has an possibility. So that's why I'm not going for any kind of trade right now. I need the confirmation that okay, I really don't want to trade this gap. Instead of this 15-minute chart is going to tell that I have traded this new day opening gap because I'm going to close above this new day opening gap. We did the damage, market fall a bit more, but I'm going higher now. So I need that confirmation. In those people who are interested to go for the buy or sell, please take that. Now I would love to observe how it is going to work with this quadrant level of that gap. If I see any kind of precised action, maybe try to take a buy. But until then, I'm really not interested to look for kind of buy from here. It has a much more possibility to fall for this gap. Instead of that, if it do this, I will better look for a sell. If it close below this gap, I will better look for a sell like this type of sell here. From there, there. If it do that, that's more comfortable entry for me rather than taking a buy from here because this is random. I don't like this random reverse. So let's see. And also let me see how much is gonna be the stop loss. Just 15 handle, so nothing worry about that. For 23 handle, good deal, good deal. This is better opportunity for me right now. But remember, it's not my bias. My bias is bullish. I'm not able to take the buy just because it's a random. Market didn't tap this fair value gap. That is the only reason I'm not able to take the buy. Is this making complicated? Boom. Thank you, Sophia, for that boom. Dropped into 50 low liquid pool. Wait for wait for PDRA always tapped into. Yes, sir. I always do that. Here is two PDRA. First is this new day opening gap on my right hand side, and the 50-minute last fair value gap or the entry gap, whatever you say. If I see the body has closed above this new day opening gap, I don't need to see this is gonna be traded. But if I see the body 15-minute body has closed below this new day opening gap, it means it's a random level. It should not reverse from this random level. Has to trade this gap at least, even if it would love to go higher. This is two type of scenario for me. Either this new opening gap is gonna work as a support. In that type of scenario, body has to close inside this gap or above this gap, or it has to come over here. That's why I told that if it close below this gap, It's better opportunity. Take a sell for me. It doesn't need to trade until the 50%. It can simply tap to the high, but I prefer until the 50% for going higher. If this candle close below this gap, it's a better opportunity for me to take a sell. I'd love to look for this lower quadrant, stop loss above this gap. Target is the equilibrium. If it tap to the top of this gap, this entry is not valid. Remember, if it tap to the top of this gap, the entry is not valid. Without tapping to the top, it has already done, so it's not valid anymore. Without tapping to the top, if it could take me, I would go for sell instead of buy. Now it's valid to me. Now this market can reverse from here. Now it can start to go higher or forever. Now I don't need to wait for this gap to be closed, take a buy. All I need to do, look for a setup to take the buy. That's all. Whenever you opening range gap less than 40 handle, ICT told to avoid trading the opening range, and after TCIF 20% object conditions are now 50. Just traded this 50-minute gap. I'm not interested to, I have nothing that can stop me to take a buy right now. Now I'm going to remove this gap because this gap doesn't have any value to me. Of course, you can use it as a reclaimed inverse gap. I'm just not interested to use this gap anymore. It doesn't have any value to me. I'll keep waiting for an opportunity to take a buy right now. From 15-minute chart, all you can see this was that area market has traded. This gap and this gap, both of this gap I just added together, trade this gap. Would love to see buy side liquidity now. Again, from the contract change, will if you go to the NQH, you will NQZ, you'll see beautiful buy side liquidity. My actual target, market fall, that low, liquidity has been cleared. Take the rest here, rest has been done, start to go higher. Any kind of buying opportunity right now for me, good opportunity to take the buy. If you are looking for sell, please go for sell, because I told you that I could go for the sell from this area, but now I'm just not interested to look for any kind of sell. I'm more interested to look for a buying opportunity right now. If it provide me the buy, I'll take the buy. If it doesn't provide me the buy, I will wait for the buying opportunity. I'm just not interested to take sell anymore. Let me take a close look if I have any sell side liquidity around this or not. Kind of obvious liquidity, is this market interested for this obvious liquidity? I don't think so. I don't think so it's interested for this obvious liquidity. I'll let this go actually. Go for this obviously. If any of you interested to take the sell, please go for that. By the way, how was the Christmas, guys? Let's talk a bit about the Christmas until we don't find another opportunity. go for the buy. Remember, I'm not saying if it go higher, if it fall, it's obvious it will go higher. So it's something like I'm saying until it's going higher, I have to wait. As long as it is falling, I will have nothing to do. I'll just let this fall go. I will wait for the buying opportunity. There is no confusion. This is one-sided. Here, this was two-sided. Here, it was two-sided because market left the obvious liquidity. When it closed, depending on the scenario, situation, all of these things, I could go for this sell. But now, there is no sell, only buy. There is no selling opportunity, just the buy. For me, of course, my bias can be wrong. I can be wrong. This market can keep falling and you can miss the trade. So please don't depend on my analysis, my understanding. Go with yourself. You feel good to take the sell, go for the sell. I don't feel good to take the sell, I will not take sell. I'll only take the buy. Bit difficult to take this buy, but I'll take this buy. Actually, I'll go for this buy because the stop loss is smaller. The difficult because market is below the new day opening gap. But I would love to go for this order block entry. This is really so beautiful order block. It can validate this order block as a order block. I'll go for this buy. Okay. These consecutive candles are the order block. If the body goes above this line, I'll take this buy. Now, if it take me, I'll go for this buy. Same thing I told you here. I would never go for the order block entry because market didn't trade this area. But here, when the market has traded this area, really a beautiful order block, consecutive order block. I'd love to catch this opportunity to take the buy from the change in state of delivery. The only problem is it is trading the new day opening gap. So I prefer this market will go through this new day opening gap and it will be easier for me. Okay. So of course I'll go for the 1:1 partial. Well, I'll go for partial around here, not 1:1, the top of this last gap with the midnight open. So you can see this line is the midnight open. Go for that midnight open in open area from the order block until here for the partial, and then we'll look for the trade here top of this high. Maximum portion of this gap should be open. That means uh, like the more area will be open of this gap, the better it will be as a breakaway gap. And it's an high probable breakaway gap. The reason is, first of all, it has cleared all the liquidity and this breakaway gap is aligned with an order block. So immediately after the order block, if there is a gap after clearing the liquidity and of course trading on higher time frame PTRA, this is one of the best breakaway gap where you can expect that market is even not going to trade this gap. If it doesn't trade this gap, that is a high probable breakaway gap. Of course, it can trade this breakaway gap sometimes, but it is acceptable to trade the breakaway gap until the 50%. That is the acceptable line or like bearable line. I can maximum bear the trading for the falling market until the 50% of this breakaway gap. But still, if you go for the consecutive order block mean threshold, you will be able to see that it's aligned with the 50% of this breakaway gap. So of course, it can fall until could fall until the breakaway gap comes to enforcement. But I just don't wanna see it is going to work with the maximum portion of this gap. The more, sorry, the less it will work with this gap, the better opportunity it is to go higher. Now I'll put my stop loss, the break even after clearing the partial, not 1:1. I'm sorry because it was not 1:1. I know that, but I took the partial over there. Now I'm going to in that. So you can see it's not 1:1. So my stop loss was kind of 25 handle, 25 handle. and I took the partial around 22 handle. The reason is this is the last fair value gap or the unfilled fair value gap, okay, to that specific fall. When this unfilled fair value gap has been filled and this market is still interested to keep falling, that means it's not interested to keep going higher. My bias is wrong. Market is not falling. Sorry, market is not going higher. It is going to fall. So if it happens like that way, then there is a high probability market will build a breaker block here, bearish breaker block, and then it will start to fall again. So I didn't want to take that risk when it has violated this gap here. I wanted to make sure that I have taken the partial. Even if it would love to keep falling, which I'm not gonna take part, even if it would love to fall, I'm just not interested to take part into that fall. I will let that fall go, but I would love to make sure that my entry, I have already taken the partial, the most logical level. That is why first I decided to go for 1:1, and then I decided no, just the midnight open, that's gonna be my partial. So I don't wanna take a risk. After taking the partial, I just put my stop loss to the break even here. I just put my stop loss to the break even. Now above this breakaway gap there is another gap. This time this gap, can it be broken? 100% it can be broken. This market simply can fall until this area before going higher. As I have taken the partial, I don't need to take that risk over here, because if I'm wrong again it will keep falling. I'll get my loss over there. I don't want to take that raw risk. I'd love to put my stop loss to the break even and would love to wait to see if it if it failed to stop me out and keep going higher. If it stopped me out, I need a confirmation entry. Same like this order block. Remember, I will wait for an order block entry over here. Buy, no sell. As I told, it will keep falling. I have no problem. I'll let him fall. I don't have any intention to take the sell. I will go for the buy again. It provide me the buying opportunity. No confusion, nothing. Here, that buy was obvious. Market didn't do that. Depending on the price action, we framed the sell. If it was a normal day, I would let this fall go. I wouldn't participate to that fall. Never ever would love to would go for the participated to that fall. Instead of that, I would go for this buy only. So today my buy would be like here. I took a buy, got stripped out. I took another buy over here. These two entry. But so far you have seen we have gone for 3 trade. Unfortunately, the first trade is a losing trade. Took the buy here, got stripped out here. Immediately switch my entry, took the sell, partial, stopped out. Buy again here, partial. Is it going to give me the full profit or not? I don't care about that. All I care, did I get the partial? Now, sometimes what happens, we are not going to get that losing trade. Okay, in that type of scenario, we are going to be profitable by our first trade. Sometimes shit happens. If I get stopped out here, something like here, I got stopped out, I'll go for the re-entry or rebuy opportunity, wherever it is going to provide me that rebuy. However, I'm just not interested to hold my stop loss to the break even, because this week is an obvious week to me that has cleared all other weeks low. All other weeks low traded a bullish fair value gap, which is also an entry fair value gap. Here this is the breakaway gap, entry fair value gap. So it has perfectly traded this entry gap, and you can see the precision over here. I love this type of precision. If I am bullish, I'm bullish, and I have seen 1 week has perfectly tick by tick rebalanced a gap, bullish gap. I feel so much confident that this low is not going to be taken. I can simply put my stop loss one tick below that week, one tick below that week, by believing that week is not gonna be taken. If I get stopped out here, I'll go for the rebuy opportunity. Okay, by the way, I got stopped out, so I'll try to take rebuy opportunity. It's taken means it has a possibility to come until here. Either way, I'll get stopped out. I don't wanna take stopped out here. Take the risk over here by believing that it's gonna hold the market, sending it higher. Violated the rules, no problem. I'll let this go. Again, if it keep falling, I'll let him fall. Not interested to catch any kind of sell. If your bias is bearish, go for the sell. I really appreciate it. I'm not interested to look for any kind of sell. It will close above this candle. I'll look for buy again from this order block, which is one of my best order block. If it close above this candle, I'll look for the buy again from that order block, because I told you this was the unfilled gap that has been filled 100%. It can build the breaker block here. It can keep falling because today is Friday. It can do that. If it do that, I'll let this fall go. But if it doesn't do that, instead of that, work with this bullish period. Forget about this order block. It's not important anymore. Market fall, cleared the liquidity, market structure shift, entry fair value gap, breakaway gap, trade the entry gap, closed above this down close body close candle, order block, gave me another opportunity to take the entry from the order block. We'll take the order block trade, look for that high. Partial is gonna be the target of this rejection block. Target is gonna be this buy side liquidity. So we'll wait to see if it can build an order block over here. If it doesn't build the order block, I will have no opportunity to take a re-entry. Either way, if it provide me that re-entry opportunity to take the buy, I'll be very happy. Otherwise, if it doesn't fall for this breakaway gap and keep going higher without giving me the entry opportunity, I'm not gonna regret over here for trailing my stop loss, which I keep saying, don't follow my trailing stop loss. I keep saying that, but again, I'm not gonna regret because I worked with the knowledge I had. It didn't work, I'm very happy. I'll look for the buying opportunity again. Keep falling, my bias is wrong. I'll let this fall because right now I don't see any logic to think about a sell. Previously, I had the sell side liquidity. Remember this obvious liquidity? This low has cleared over here by a shallow run, which was an obvious liquidity which has been cleared. So I could frame the sell. Now I have no opportunity to look for the buying opportunity. Whoever is interested to take the sell, you are always welcome to go for the sell. Please take the sell. I will wait to see if it can build this order block to give me the re-entry. It will close above this candle, sorry, above this line. It's gonna be my order block. I'm gonna take the buy again from this order block. And we'll do the same thing again. Look for the 1:1 partial. We'll go for the target. Okay, where is the 1:1? 8 handle. I don't need that. And simple for 22 handle. Target could go. Yeah, so I'll go for 1:1 partial and we'll target the rejection block. So let's see if it can give me that buying opportunity from this order block right now. From 22 YT model, from higher time frame, point of interest, random reversal. This is a random reversal, and this is a perfect reversal from a higher time frame PDRA. That's why I was not confident to look for a buy here. I needed to body close above this gap. But now when it came from here, I have nothing to worry about that uh, bullishness, because market doesn't need to come back again, fall. Instead of that, I can simply go for the trade. If I am already in this state, for example, I didn't move my stop loss, I didn't get stopped out, I would love to add more over there from this order block. Okay, that's gonna be the entry. That's gonna be the entry. Partial is going to be 1:1 here, and target is going to be there, the rejection block. I'll put my stop loss a bit below the order block, like 1 or 2 handle below of the order block, kind of here. Try to take the partial here, put my stop loss to the break even. I'm going to remove this gap, which is the last fair value gap. Doesn't have any value to take re-entry or in inverse way. Sometimes I frame the entry from the last fair value gap. This last fair value gap is not valid to frame the buy entry. So I'm going to remove it. It was important while this market was reacting from this last fair value gap. Could keep falling. I could get stopped out. Sorry, it could keep falling by building a breaker block. as it didn't do that, instead of that perfectly built and order block, I would love to leave this order block, let the market go till at least 1 is to 1 here inside this gap, as well as that weak 50%, which week was very important, remember? So until that week 50%, to say if it can provide me that 1 is to 1 partial. Very nice reaction from this gap, but to be honest, this gap was important for me while it didn't trade this 50-minute fair value gap. In that type of scenario, this gap was very important to me, because if this gap is not broken, this market had the possibility to trade this gap and keep falling for this area. But when it has been done here around this area, this gap doesn't need to hold the market, send it lower again for finish some unfinished business. I really don't want to see any kind of reaction from this gap right now. Fortunately, if it do that, bad luck. But to be honest, I'm not interested to see kind of reversal from here. I don't want to see that reversal from there. Okay, to be honest, love to see it will be broken and market will give me the partial level at least. Again, we'll look for the mean threshold of that order block to see it can hold the trade, hold the market. This is the mean threshold, okay, so which is actually aligned with this fair value gap. I don't need to mark it differently. Just remember, this is the mean threshold. It can maximum fall until this area. It is a very small inverse gap. I'm just watching this inverse gap just for the sake of this conversation, like, just I really don't know it has any importance or not. I really don't have any idea. Is this has any inverse, I mean, sorry, importance or not? I'm just watching it, okay? So I'm gonna remove it from my chart. You guys just keep an eye on this inverse gap. I really don't have any idea is it important or not, because I never studied this type of scenario where inverse gap is gonna be important or not. However, if it close above this candle, it's gonna be my best propulsion block, which I would love to see will work as a support. Instead of this order block, will work as a support. So it will tap to this propulsion block, keep going higher, something like that. So I'm gonna move or transfer my order block from here to here. So this low is now important to me. Market should not go below this low, but I'm not moving my stop loss right now until I'm not going to get a bullish fair value gap. When I'll find a bullish fair value gap, I will move my stop loss, because that gap I would love to see unfilled. Market should leave that bullish gap unfilled. So I need that bullish gap before moving my stop loss or trailing my stop loss. I have to observe, or I have to take the risk. If it keeps falling and stop me out, I have to take that risk. Here I have a very small last fair value gap as well, which I'm watching, and it's respecting so far, but which is going to be broken, because here this gap is more important rather than this gap. This gap is the basic gap, or kind of imbalanced precedence area or something like that, whatever you say. Like around 9:30, this is the first presented fair value gap as well. I mean, this area is a very important area, okay? Holding the market, will say at least give me the partial. Unfortunately, I was not able to take the partial here to this gap, because the range was not enough for me to take the partial. So I put my stop loss a bit higher to make it just 1 is to 1. Okay. However, I'm going to put my stop loss just below the gap right now here, just below this gap, bit below. Okay, moving it, because the order block low is not important to me. This low is important. Of course, market can fall and stop me out. I will have nothing to do, because as I told you, I'm just not able to take the partial to this gap, taking some risk within, while I have this type of bullish PDRS. But it is also holding. I mean, However, you can see this whole zone is important. From here, this whole zone is important. I mean, look at this, how strong this zone is. All I need to see, market will close above this zone. I'll be very safe for this run toward this, at least this rejection block. So need to see it will go through at least this 50% of this reclaimed gap. So if it can close above the constant crossment, I'll be confident that I'm getting at least the partial. So I just moved my stop loss for 15 handle, 5 handle I minimized. You don't need to follow my trailing stop loss. You can just keep following the things you are doing. For example, if you are in this trade and you didn't move the stop loss, maybe you are still in this trade. So sometimes shit happens when I moved my stop loss and I got stopped out, and then I tried to take re-entry. It's better for me, okay? To be honest, it's better for me, easier for me. The order block is from to the top to the bottom. The change in state of delivery from the top to the bottom, not opening. Opening price is the most sensitive price. I keep saying that I love to mark the opening price, but the order block is from the top to the bottom. So guys, if I see that it's still respecting this area or this zone, I'll move my stop loss below this order block, because it's struggling to break this. I don't want to take that risk that it's gonna respect from here and move and stop me out. So I prefer to get stopped out to the break even rather than taking some losses. As I'm not getting the speed, I'm not feeling so good to hold this trade. So if I see just keep respecting this area, I'll move my stop loss. Okay, I'm just not seeing the movement toward my direction. It should give me the speed. It's still struggling to break this zone. Should not do that. How beautiful it is reacting from the low of this first presented fair value gap, the first presented fair value gap low, first presented fair value gap high. So beautiful it is reacting from the low and the constant crossment. I don't like to see this. If I'm bullish, of course I don't like to see this type of precision from this first presented gap or any kind of bearish PTRA. Instead of that, I would love to see that it's gonna break the low of this gap, the constant crossment of this gap to the high of this gap, like a step by step. It will close at first at the beginning, like here. It has closed above the constant crossment, sorry, above the low of this first presented gap. Very happy. Then I would love to see that market is going to close above the dashed line, which is the 50% of this first presented gap. Very happy. Then some kind of consolidation. Then closed above the high of this first presented gap. Very good. But after seeing this closing, then respecting like this way, I don't like this shit. However, guys, I'm down for this trade. I'll put my stop loss here because I'm not feeling good anymore. I'll put it here. If I get stopped out, I'm happy with that. Minimized my stop loss from 10 handle. Okay, just covering this low around here, as well as the top of this entry fair value gap. If it would love to come back again to this entry fair value gap, I'll get stopped out, or maybe I'll put it a bit below, because there is the mean threshold of the water block, so I'll put it a bit below area. It's respecting. I'm not liking the respect of this area, so I would love to give the respect to those who should give me the bias or the directional bias. For example, here this inverse gap, which I told that I really don't know it is important or not. If I see the precise reaction from this gap, I'll be happy. I would love to give the respect to this gap. That means it respected here, come back again, tap here. I have no problem with that. But when it is respecting this gap, I'm not interested to hold this trade for so long. I need speed. I'm not getting speed, so I'm getting disappointed with this trade, something like that. So I don't want to take more risk by hoping that one day it will go higher. Before going higher, it will maybe fall just one tick above my stop loss, then it will start to go higher. I'm just not interested to play the market like that way. Not giving me, I'm trying to minimize my loss. I gave enough space, breathe. Enough space. It's more than enough. I gave it enough space to breathe. Now why you are not going higher? You have already missed one level for giving the speed, which is 1030. You didn't give me the speed around 1030. You can see around 1030, which is here, around 1030. It didn't move anywhere, just nowhere, just consolidating around the same area. So I don't really want to hold the trade for so long by thinking that maybe it will go higher, so I will keep my stop loss over here. I'm not interested to do that. But I'm not asking any of you to trail the stop loss with me, because if you see here, I got prematurely, I got stopped out, and then this market went until that area. Sometimes this shit happens. It just stopped me out. If I would put my stop loss to the break even, I wouldn't get stopped out. And then it started to go high. But most of the time, I got good result by trailing the stop loss, so I'm doing it. Is this making any sense, guys? I'm not reading any comment, unfortunately. I'm just asking if if the things are making any sense to you. Let me know to the comment box. I'll read it. Okay, after a bit, just I'll read it. Please don't forget to let me know that. Take Profit Trader, we have 40% discount. If any of you are interested about Take Profit Trader because of their daily payout or activation fees, no rules while you are funded, great customer service, everything's good. Make sure that you have used the code. I'll be grateful to you. Trust me, you know that on Friday I'm a bit late. On Friday I'm a bit late, but this couldn't be my losing trade, because if I were in front of my chart, that would be my buy over here. I would take some partial and then maybe would get a stopped out to the break even. Unfortunately, I was late, so I framed the trade from the water block, which was, I was thinking that I'm already too late. Should I go for that? But I thought the greatest opportunity because the buy side liquid was too near to me. That's why I framed the water block entry. But if I were here in front of my chart from the beginning, you would see that I am already in this trade from this candle, and maybe would get a stop, I mean partial around here, but a stop out to the break even. So even though I got a stopped out here, I really don't care because I perfectly got that fall. And so for this buy, for a small run, because trailing stop loss got stopped out, re-entry, go for the trade. And as you can see, time distortion, I hate this time distortion. What I should do, I should close the trade right now. I can't do that. Can't close the trade. I feel like that I'm killing a potential winning trade. I feel like that way. Okay, that's why I'm not able to do that. But as a professional trader, I should close the trade exactly right now, because the market is clearly telling me time distortion. So where I'm going and what I'm going to do, nobody knows. Close it. I'm just not able to do that. Instead of that, I'll move my stop loss with the logical level. That's all I can do. This low is the maximum low I will let the market take as a liquidity. So this low I'm gonna accept the market to take because it needs to take some liquidity after the time distance. I'm gonna let the market to take this low, not that low. Remember, this low is my origin low right now. This low should not be taken, even though covered the min threshold of this order block, but I prefer this low not to be taken. Liquidity taken should be done by that low, specific low over here. Then this market should go higher, which is on other word reclaimed order block. Market has reclaimed the old order block. Now it should go higher. For the first time, to close above the high here, see the high. I'll move my stop loss to the below of that low, which has cleared the liquidity here. will close one tick above this line. Yes, it's gonna be a lot of lines. Please don't get confused, okay? For the first time, it will close above this line. I will move my stop loss below this low, which has cleared this liquidity because it didn't left anything over here, nothing over here. Everything is done. It should keep going higher now. If it doesn't go higher now, it will never go higher. It will keep falling, stop me out over here for sure. I need to move my stop loss. I just can't put it to the break even just because this low is the liquidity taken low. It can come back again until the week over here we traded. I just don't want to get stopped out over there. So we'll try to put my stop loss below that low after closing above this. You don't need to follow my trailing stop loss again because trailing stop loss is it's very man to man. That means the way you manage your trade, just manage your trade like that way. Don't copy my trade. I'm not here to give you the copy trade. I'm here to read all of this market just to show you when what you should expect, why it is reacting from here, why this gap is important, why like here the water block, propulsion block, the low, they're important. Just because of that, I'm explaining these candles. Otherwise, if you are following my trade, sorry, you are copying my trade, I push the button, that's why you are pushing the button. I request to leave the stream, go someone else. They're better, thousand times better than me. Close one tick above this line, I'll put my stop loss below this low. This low should be protected. It didn't close above this line, it opened above the line. Opening above the line and closing above the line is 100% different, absolutely opposite. It has built a liquidity void here. See this area from here to here, no buy no sell happened over here, no buy no sell happened over here. The liquidity void, so it's absolutely different. Closing a candle above the line and opening a candle above this line. So I'm not still able to move my stop loss because it can simply start to fall again as it didn't close yet above this line. I'm predicting it is going to close. Okay, so I'll just put it over here. I just don't know it will close or not, but I'm predicting it's going to close. If I see it didn't close, I'll move my stop loss again. Okay, it has closed. Now it is safe over here. It should be safe. Till now, I didn't get any bullish fair value gap, which I need desperately over here, and that gap should be unfilled. I desperately need an unfilled bullish fair value gap right now. That will tell me that market is coming for this rejection block. So if I get an unfilled bullish fair value gap, I'll be able to move my stop loss to the break even. And again, if I move this gap, this is the real intention for me to see to be broken. This reclaimed gap, it should be broken. And as I told, I could simply put my stop loss to the break even, but as I told, this low has cleared that low. It can come back again to trade the quadrant level of that wick. I just don't gonna get stopped out prematurely or reclaimed water block can happen like 1000s of the time. Just didn't want to take that risk. Instead of that, took this small risk. Still now, if I get stopped out over here, you will be able to see that I have like 3 handle to tick small stop loss. Fortunately, I have to take that risk right now. Should not go below this low. Uh, but if it go below this low, I'll get stopped out for 3 handle to tick, and I have to accept that loss. I'm not able to put my stop loss to the break even until I'm not seeing any kind of what to say, I mean kind of bullish unfilled fair value gap. Here, let's remember this small gap over here, which was the liquidity void. Here, sell side delivery has been done. That means market has provided the sell side delivery here. The buy side delivery is inefficient over there. That means there should be a buy bull candle, okay, green candle around here through this line. You're seeing a good price action over here. I'm seeing a worst price action, the worst price action ever. Market is just doing the time distortion. Extremely dangerous because we are going toward the top of the hour. So top of the hour, sometimes fake run happened at the beginning. That means if market is bullish, first market fall, then it will go higher. The reason is top of the hour is the opening of the hourly candle. So hourly candle manipulation is gonna be the fake run. If this market is very near to this area, I will try to put my stop loss to the break even around the opening of 11 a.m. I want to see it will go above this area. So even if the first run is the break back, I'm sorry, fake run. For example, fake run will trade any kind of bullish fair value gap, and then it will start to go higher. Hourly candle will open here or here somewhere, will fall until a bullish fair value gap, then it will start to go higher again. This area is absolutely balanced now. And look at this candle, tap to this volume imbalance over here, reacting from this volume imbalance, how beautiful. I'm going to remove this line because you remember why this line was important. This candle closed here. It can maximum fall, trade the quadrant level of that week, and then it will start to go higher. That's why my stop loss was here after closing above that line. When the candle has closed above this line, retracement happened. This line is not important to me anymore. So I'm going to remove this line. I would love to see how this market is going to leave this gap open, which is my unfilled fair value gap. So I'm expecting market is going to build unfilled gap here, which is should be an expectation. Okay, if this market left that gap open, there is a high probability market is coming for this rejection block. Now I will put my stop loss to the break even. Why? Because I have got this bullish PDR right now. This market doesn't need to come back again for this order block to be traded for going higher. I wish it will give me at least the partial, because right now it is trading the last fair value gap over here. At least the partial will be taken, and then I will see if it can give me the run toward the liquidity. Remember, the partial has to be 1:1. I just don't know I put it around 1:1 or not. You will do that extremely precisely 1:1. At the beginning, when you took the entry from here, your stop loss was two tick below this candle. Remember the order block candle below the two tick. So it was 20 handle 3 tick. Your target should be 20 handle 3 tick. Let me actually check it. That should be your first partial, exactly over here. 1:1. If it is 20 handle 3 tick, it should be 20 handle 3 tick. We take the partial over here. Just didn't see where it was like. I think I randomly put it around 20 handle or something like that. However, you have to do that, or you have to manage that so precisely. 1 is to 1 means 1 is to 1, not 20 handle stop loss, 21 handle partial. No, 20 handle stop loss, 20 handle partial. It provided to you, go for that. Still, this gap consonant crossment, look at that gap consonant crossment. Still, it's not broken. I need a body close above the consonant crossment of this reclaimed gap. A very important gap. I have already talked a lot about this gap in my life, so not going in the deep explanation of this gap. Just let this go, but need to see a body close of this gap. Still, it's respecting. If any of you are in this trade, make sure that you have taken partial around 1:1. I'm not asking any of you to copy my trade. I'm just asking, if you took the entry because of your understanding, then please try to take the partial around 1:1. Wherever it was 1:1, take the partial. If your stop loss was below 20 handle, then and only then you can hold your partial until 20 handle. For example, I took this trade and my stop loss was here. For the sake of this conversation, the stop loss was 12 handle. In that type of scenario, I'm not interested to go for 1:1. Instead of that, I would love to go for 20 handle. So here, for the first time, body has closed. Look, body has closed above the consonant crossment. Now look at the speed. Wait for the speed. See this? Wait for the speed. Because the bearish speed area already broken. The consonant crossment is broken means it's already broken. Yeah, of course it could follow one more time, but I am preferring that it's gonna be broken. Market will keep going higher. I wish it will give me the partial at least. Yeah, that's the partial. Now, this is unfilled, right? You are expecting 1 to 3 candle is going to take that rejection block. 1 to 3 candle maximum is going to take that rejection block. Target is this buy side liquidity. It will give me that or not. I don't really care about that. I should be profitable. So here today until now I framed a buy at the beginning. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Immediately I switched my bias. I have already explained why I took that sell. If it was a normal day, what I would do, that is a boom. Then I took another buy from the order block. That was a boom. I framed another buy from another order block depending on the two fair value gap. You already know these two fair value gaps. So maybe some of you didn't take the entry from the order block. You have already know how to use two fair value gap, right? Entry gap, breakaway gap. You took the buy over here. Maybe you got the partial. I don't know. Of course, you have to get the partial. However, partial has been taken. Stop loss to the break even. Let the market go toward the target. If it go, boom. If it doesn't, let it go. Again, same target. I can simply put this target, this buy side liquidity, to see if it can reach until that area. So extreme target should not be dependent to write down boom for you guys, please. It should not be your intention that if this guy hit his extreme target, then I'm going to write down boom. If you do that, what I will do, I'll frame my trade here, take the partial here, close my trade over there, and you will write down boom for me. I'm not yet doing that, so when I'm not doing that, I I believe that I deserve the boom. At least until now in this shit price action, we have successfully framed 3 winning trade, 1 losing trade. Should be a boom. Write down the boom. Let me open the chat actually. Sivan Segaram, Kamimi, you're trading. If you're finding value in stream, please consider liking and sharing it on your social media. Spreading the word helps others benefits as well. Please do that for us. Thank you so much, guys, for understanding. Hey, Sujivan, boom, I got out a small profit, but it's still a profit. Didn't want to hold long on the day like today. best decisions. Even last time I told you that you are doing the best. Thank you so much, brother, for understanding. Done trading today, 200 and on eval all in green. Congratulations, brother, for your green day. Are you green today? Who to whom you are asking? All my execution over here. G man, boom. Thank you so much, brother, for writing boom. Sophia, thank you so much for the boom. Hey, don't you? Thank you so much for the boom. Sophia, thank you for the penguin again. Jamil, thank you, man. Thank you, man. Hey, Dora, thank you. Dora, what happened to your accounts? Are they good? Sophia, amazing on such a day. Absolutely, sister. Yeah, that was a day was extremely wrong for me. It didn't work at all, but at least this whole December, I have at least framed all the trade here. Remember, like one trade framed on the holiday. So beautifully it worked. Then these trades, you guys remember this trade, so beautifully it worked over there as well. I mean, here it worked so beautifully. The first entry was a losing trade, remember? That was the losing trade, and then all the trades are a winning trade. And there was one day was not good actually, but fortunately, the rest of the days are good to us. Perfect. Put my stop loss to this area, to this area, because this should work as a reclaimed gap. And if it would love to fall, it can maximum fall for this down close candle. Top is over here. I don't need to worry about that. Let this go. Of that, you can see the high has cleared over here by a shallow run, and obviously good. So I will wait for the market to see how it is going to go above this high. If it go above that high and closed above that high, I will move my stop loss again. Otherwise, if it doesn't do that, it starts to fall, then maybe I'll get a stop out over there. So let this run go to see how it is going to go in a specific area or not. Like, yeah. Guys, I'll take a small break actually for 5 to 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. Let this run go. I'll put it to the break even and I'll let this go for this area. And I'll take a break for 10 minutes. I have to wash my face because I went outside. I just came, started the live. I didn't get fresh. I have to wash my face and like hand, everything is too cold over here. I hope you'll understand. Just will be back within five minutes. Okay. So much for your patience. Thank you guys for being over here to be patient. It's the perfect time to go outside and enjoy the weather. It's the end of the year. I don't think so. It's a great idea to keep trading. This is my personal opinion again. Of course, choice is yours. I prefer not to trade, over trade around this area. Instead of that, I prefer you guys to go outside and enjoy the sunlight. Rest of the things, great. Best uh, idea, I think. The period of the last hour time, I mean last year area. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, guys, please talk to me because I'm really not interested to uh, frame any other trade. Have to wait for until 11:30 to see how it is going to react. But before that, I really would love to go for from the beginning to the top, like how this market actually worked or what happened or how you'd go for the pre-market analysis. Now, everything I'm gonna say, it's gonna be hindsight, but you guys please remember I framed all the all the trade in life, so nothing was hindsight. Just would love to go in short or like how this is working actually. Let's start from the weekly chart. So you guys remember if I go from the very beginning, that was the our dealing range high, dealing range low. If I mark the high, dealing range high and the dealing range low, this was the equilibrium or the 50% of that dealing range. If I am bullish and this market is really interested to catch that high, it should not reach to the lower quadrant. We have already talked about this in live. Nothing is hindsight. Please don't get confused like Hamad. If you get confused, that's gonna be your problem, not my problem. Summer is not gonna be better, brother, from the second week of February. Second week of February. I'm from Bangladesh, brother. I live in Portugal, but actually I'm from Bangladesh. So this is the dealing range. I know a lot of you doesn't want to listen this, but this is your base. If you, the better you will be here, the better you will be in trading. The better understanding you will have to trade. So here, as I told, if it fall for this lower quadrant, there is a much more possibility for the consolidation or market will fall for this low over here. So fortunately, you can see market didn't trade this lower quadrant area, traded that constant crossment of the dealing range, the 50% of this deal, and now it is started to go higher. So for weak candle is bullish. I'm just don't know is it gonna reverse and gonna close as a bear candle, but I prefer it to close as a bull candle, just above these highs. Even if it doesn't reach for those highs, it's gonna take the some kind of buy side liquidity here and gonna stop over there. However, I'm extremely bullish for that all-time high and for a new all-time high, which I will predict later when it is gonna clear that high. Then we are going to predict the new all-time high. Remember this all-time high, we missed it. Our line was just 25 handle above this line. That was our prediction that this market is gonna go 25 handle more high. We have predicted that high when this candle appeared on the chart. So after this candle, no, sorry, not that candle here, that candle. When this candle appeared on the chart, we have predicted the all-time high and we missed it just for 25 handle, if you guys remember. However, we are going to predict new all-time high again when it is gonna clear that all-time high. Going to the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. You guys remember that dealing range because this low has cleared this low. That high has cleared that swing high over here. There is a gap which was unfilled where it should be unfilled while we are looking for a sell. Don't forget about the sell, so beautiful sell. Yeah, we wanted to the maximum sell for this area. It didn't go until that area. We don't need that. At least we got that sell over here by leaving this gap. So we have studied that gap, how this gap is gonna be unfilled. It could trade that gap, no problem, but it should be unfilled. However, this market fall and this is a new leg. So we are talking about that leg. Nothing is hindsight again. Those people who actually joined me today, you can think that, oh, everyone can do that as an hindsight. Nothing is hindsight. This is the low of that specific dealing range, the high of the dealing range. This is the equilibrium, and there was a gap. So our first intention was market is going to trade this gap over here, and then it will start to go higher. It can maximum fall. How far? Remember the equilibrium of that dealing range plus the order block opening was bit below here. Okay, so below this break fair value gap, the last contract NQZ 2025, the order block open was a bit below here, around this area, bit below. So our intention was that this market is going to trade, not only trade this gap, but also it is also going to trade the equilibrium opening of this order block. Then it will start to go higher. Even if would love to go higher, it is gonna trade those areas, must. This market fall, that was the only day I was absolutely wrong. If you guys remember, that was the absolutely wrong day for me. I was absolutely wrong to my bias in that day. We framed the sell because we were not interested to look for a sell, but we got an opportunity. If you guys remember, we took one sell, and then the rest of the day I was looking for bullish run. Market never gave me the bullish opportunities. That was the day I was absolutely wrong over here. However, if you look for this order block, lowest down close body close candle, which has cleared all the lows as well as traded some bullish fair value gap. If you go to the uh, weekly chart, you will be able to see that it has traded a weekly new week opening gap as well. However, this lowest down close body close candle, I would love to mark the 50% of this lowest down close body close candles. Okay, so here, this is that equilibrium or the 50% of that order block. What is it called? Mean threshold. I was expecting to trade the opening at least, and then it will start to go higher. It has traded the mean threshold of the 50% of that order block. I told that it should never trade this line, which is the lower quadrant, if it really interested to keep going higher. Because if it trade this line, which is with that volume imbalance plus this fair value gap. So from this fair value gap until this volume imbalance, we are not expecting market is going to trade this gap. So sometimes when you are studying this ICT concepts and you see some kind of bullish fair value gap over here, which is very beautiful, and you started to think that, okay, so this market is going to reverse actually from this fair value gap, where I see that if it trade this gap, it means it's bearish now. It's not bullish anymore. It's a bearish market right now, where you are expecting market is going to trade that gap before going higher. But I keep saying that this market should not trade this area, because if it trade this area, either it's going to be long-term consolidation or market is going to fall to take this sell side liquidity. There's a high probability market will keep falling and take that sell side liquidity. How do I know that? Depending on that dealing range. So this dealing range is telling me that this is the lower quadrant and market should not trade this lower quadrant if it want to go higher. So here the equilibrium is the best area. And why I was wrong in that day? Because previous day market perfectly trade the equilibrium opening of the order block. You are seeing it here, but if you go to the back contract, you will see the order block is opening is over there, which is the sensitive line most sensitive line of an order block. However, I was expecting it is the time to go for the buy. So that specific day I was extremely wrong. My bias was extremely wrong, even though we have framed that winning trade, but it was a wrong day. However, it never come here, started to go higher perfectly. So all of this run leg is now in my interest. So I'll go to the forward chart now. Now to that leg, we are talking about that leg. Remember, this was the buy side liquidity around here, and then this market fall. That was the leg was unexpected. Remember, just that leg was unexpected. I was interested to see this inverse gap is gonna be respected and market will start to go higher. But unfortunately, it has fallen. Traded this small volume imbalance over here. I showed you this volume imbalance to you. I told that look at this how beautifully it is respecting volume imbalance, which is the mean threshold of the daily bullish order block. Perfectly traded this volume imbalance as well as worked with this wick, started to go higher, closed above this inverse gap. What a beautiful inverse gap. Why? Because below this low, I have some other lows here, very near to each other, very near to each other. See here, this is one of the best inverse gap. We have talked about this inverse gap. We told that it's gonna trade this inverse gap, then this market is going to go higher. When market came here, I told that this market can trade this new week opening gap, this new week opening gap start to go higher. If it keep falling, it can maximum fall until this breaker block, which has been traded already over here by that on, which is one of my best confident breaker block over here. Candle closed above this breaker block. Next candle open, trade this breaker block over here, keep going higher. So it, though this breaker block has been traded, it can be retest one more time. So if it doesn't hold, new week opening gap doesn't hold the price, then it can maximum fall until this breaker block, and then it will start to go higher again. Don't think that it's a bearish market until this buy side liquidity is not taken. This is the buy side liquidity I was watching, and I was expecting this market is going to clear that buy side liquidity over here. So until this buy side liquidity is not going to be taken, again guys, nothing is hindsight. Everything was in live before it appeared. I admit that I was absolutely wrong for these two 4 hour candle. Just these two 4 hour candle, I was extremely wrong. I was not expecting this is gonna be a bearish candle, but unfortunately that was a bearish candle. And fortunately we have also found a selling opportunity that is specific. So finally market trade this area, and then this buy side liquidity is obvious to me. I'm just interested to see this market is going for that area. Coming back to hourly chart, in this hourly chart over here is that new week opening gap. Market has traded the new week opening gap, fall, cleared that low, the new week opening gap low, traded the equilibrium or the 50% of this new week opening gap. Let me show you this, that new week opening gap here. See this area, this is that new week opening gap, this week new week opening gap. So this area and that area, the same area from 50-minute chart. See this 50-minute chart, and this is the also the 50-minute chart. So here that candles that has traded that new week opening gap, constant crossment over here, that is that area, right? Let me, yeah, that is that low. You are seeing this low over here, that is the same low, then this here, and finally that low here. So I think this is the hourly chart, that's why the candles are looking a bit different, because this is 50-minute chart, this is the hourly chart. However, all I'm saying that it has perfectly respected the 50% of this new opening gap. And we have seen it tapped to the high. We framed a losing trade here. If you guys remember, we framed a sell here. It didn't work. Immediately switch our bias, keep taking the buying opportunity or the buy setup over here. So first we got that fall, then that run. We took a loss here, then we went for the buy again. However, it closed all of this area and then keep going higher. I would love to go back again for my hourly chart. So from the 4 hour chart, you know that market is going for this buy side liquidity. From the hourly chart, you can see that this is that last fair value gap to that specific leg, as well as the order block that has been traded here after clearing that liquidity here. Then market come here, trade that order block, bearish order block from hourly chart, reacted for this specific fair value gap, then go higher, build this low, has taken that low over here, liquidity has been cleared, it keep going higher. Here is a volume imbalance around this area. You can see this candle close, this candle open, and this is also kind of new to opening. There is a new to opening gap as well, which is just below the buy side liquidity. So of course it can respect from that new new to opening gap. There is nothing wrong, but for right now I want to see it will clear this low, has been cleared here, to keep going higher. Coming back to 50-minute chart, on the 50-minute chart, is that same low just traded the new week opening gap, constant crossment for the 50% around here. Then we have talked about this bullish gap. You guys remember prior to 9:30 in that day, I told that I'm gonna predict this candle is going to close below this gap. That's why I framed the sell here before the 50-minute candle gave me the confirmation. Sometimes what happened, I gonna predict this is gonna close and then it didn't close, stop me out, keep going higher. Sometimes this happen. Okay, this is a part of this game. However, that was the gap prior to 9:30 was important, very important to me. Trade this gap, keep going higher, took the buy side liquidity, going higher. However, when this trade has been traded over here and then this market came to that specific around here, a specific day on Wednesday, We went for another gap from the 50 chart. That was the gap. That gap. This was the gap, just same like that gap. Now here, I think it was not the gap, it was the inverse gap. Sorry, we have framed the inverse gap, not the bullish gap, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it was the inverse gap, not the bullish gap, because this bullish gap appeared on the 930. So that was the bearish gap. Here, the important gap was bearish. That is specifically this bullish gap was important prior to 930, going higher so beautifully. Now, if you take a closer look around this area over here for today's price action, what do you see? Prior to 930, that was the bullish gap. There is no bearish gap. You don't need to worry about any kind of bearish gap. Prior to 930, you can clearly see this is a bullish gap. So for example, I were here in front of my chart around 9. So I'm just going to trade this market around 9 with all of you guys. How would I start my day today? First, I would go for the 50-minute chart. I would show you this buy side liquidity. That brother market is going to clear that buy side liquidity. My target for today. I'm interested to see market is going to clear that buy side liquidity prior to 930. Look what the market is right now. Market is over here. Do you see any bearish fair value on your left? No. Do you see any bullish fair value gap which is obvious to you on your left? Yeah, I can see this gap is holding the market. See this gap? It is holding the market prior, like before 930 from 15-minute chart. More importantly, from 15-minute chart. If you don't find anything from 15-minute chart, go to your hourly chart to mark this gap. A very, very, very strong gap. Trust me, brother. It's a very strong gap. So you can see this gap gonna be the most important gap prior to 930. Now you can say, brother, this hindsight. Every day I'm doing it in live. As I was not in front of my chart today, I'm showing this to you as an hindsight. So if I'm bullish and I'm expecting this buy side liquidity is gonna be taken prior to 930, I would love to see market is not going to go below this gap. If the market is below this gap, no buy is valid to me. I will only look for the, I mean, either I'll let the sell go or I will wait for this market to close out this gap, go for the buy. As my bias is not bearish, I'm not interested to take the sell. So of course I'm not going to take the sell. Instead, I'll wait for this close up this gap one more time to go higher. So here I'll be in 1 minute chart, maybe around 930. See how this is going to happen. All I know that market no buy is valid while this market is below this fair value gap. Until it is not below this fair value gap, I'm good to go for any kind of buying opportunity. Now you can see around 930. This is the 930 candle over here. Market fall, cleared all of these lows. All of these lows has been cleared. Traded this 50-minute bullish fair value gap. All I need a bullish setup. Now you can see here there is a bearish gap, right? There is a bearish gap. I'm preferring to take a buy from this bearish gap. So if this bearish gap is first, I would start to look for a buying opportunity until this buy side liquidity is taken. So let's see how it worked actually. Then this market open, traded that bearish gap, closed above this bearish gap. I don't need anything else. I'm more interested to take a buy from this bearish gap. But here, stop loss at least below the candle just build this, I'm sorry, valid this bearish gap. Target is gonna be the buy side liquidity here, of course, after 1:1 partial, so 25 candle. If I get the entry over here within 3 candle, 5 candle, I would love to take that buy. Okay, so let's see what happened. Would be my first opportunity for today. Take the buy. Then this market fall, tap to this gap. That could be my buy around here. Perfect buy about around here. Would wait for see if I can get at least 1:1 partial. Then we'll hold the trade as long as it. Okay. Got the partial, stop loss to the break even, target buy sell liquidity. Let's see if it can work. Then I got a stop out here by the very next candle. I got a stop out to the break even. So took partial 1:1, got a stop out to the break even. To wait to see. Remember, the buy sell liquidity is here. I have nothing to worry about. Nothing. I can simply go for the trade. Now here I'm showing you the inverse gap. The reason is, even though it has cleared these lows, it has also left all of these lows over here. So it's a great area to think about a inverse gap. If you look in a different way, the high and the low. The high has cleared all other liquidity. The low has cleared all other liquidity, and go for the quadrant level from the high to the low. You can see this is the equilibrium area. Now, if this gap aligned with the lower quadrant, that is the best inverse gap ever. Have to have some lows below this low. Can't be the extreme high, something like here. This is the extreme high. I can't use, there is no other high on its left. The next high is here. That is the next high. There is no other high near the market. So I can't look for any kind of inverse gap over here. But around here, if you look on your left, I have lot of the lows here. Like some liquidity I have below that area. So here, if I go from here to here, not there, here to here. Sorry, not there, because problem is this high made a swing high, take that swing high, then fall. So this is that leg, okay, not from here. And this gap is actually above the equilibrium, a very low probable gap to take the entry, which is above the equilibrium of the dealing range. So all of this price was inside this dealing range, the low and the high. If you get confused, you can simply go for this high, which is easier for you to mark. I would love to be more precise over here to show you why this gap is low probability according to that dealing range. So as you can see here, this market came to the deep premium area. It is convinced that market is going to clear that high. But the problem is the gap is above the equilibrium. I prefer the gap should be with the lower quadrant. So if this inverse gap was with the lower quadrant area, that could be the best area to take the buy. Unfortunately, it was here, and depending on other price action, maybe we could go for the buy, or maybe our bias is bullish, that's why we are framing the buy. Otherwise, maybe we would let this go. I just don't know. But according to the premium and not premium dealing range, is a low probable inverse gap, which is above the equilibrium. The best inverse gap appeared around the lower quadrant, or in between 50% and the lower quadrant here, not below the lower quadrant, not above the 50% of the dealing range. In between here, okay, the best is aligned with the lower quadrant. That is the best inverse gap. However, maybe that could be our first opportunity to take the entry over here. Then market has finally cleared that high to the partial, got stood out to the break even. I'm bullish. Maybe from this order block, I would frame another buy, which I have actually done today and got the loss over here. And immediately I showed you all other trades, how I'm going to switch my bias to from buy to sell, the sell from there, and then took the buy again from here. Now around this area, remember this gap, this is that 15-minute bullish gap. What did I say? No buy is valid until this market is not above this 15-minute bullish gap, or at least above the consonant crossment of this bullish gap. Now look what happened. Market fall, closed below this 50-minute bullish gap prior to 9:30, fall, come back again until the equilibrium of that specific gap, fall again, clear that liquidity, trade 50-minute bullish gap, go back again, closed above this gap, trade this gap, keep going higher by respecting to the top of this gap, just keep going higher. However, the best area to frame the buy is from this order block, not from that order block. So we have framed this buy as well, that buy as well, but best was from this order block, which was above this 15-minute fair value gap prior to 9:30. Now why I did frame this trade, because from the 15-minute chart we are observing this gap which was prior to 9:30 above this low. So this low, when it has been taken over here, that low built that bullish fair value gap as our strength, right? This gap should not be broken. When this low has been cleared, that means this market has cleared this low. This gap is now a low probable gap. It doesn't have any value. Instead of that, if you mark this gap, which is here, which is now high probable gap. So any kind of buy above this gap is a valid buy. I don't need to worry about this gap. For the sake of the conversation, when this fall failed to clear this low, this is the gap prior to 9:30, which is the most important gap. You have to give the highest priority because the low is intact. This gap is balanced by that low. It's an origin low. These candles cleared that low. This gap is now valueless to me. I don't want to use this gap anymore as my highest priority gap. Instead of that, I'd love to give the priority to this gap, which is actually really good. However, market so far is consolidating. I'm so sorry for this big rant, but I hope some of you will get something from this rant. If you get, I'm really happy. If you don't get, I'm so sorry. Okay, really, I'm not teaching you anything. Some of you keep calling me sir. Please don't call me sir. It made me embarrassed. Okay, I feel embarrassed. Embarrassed. Okay, so sorry for my pronunciation. Please don't call me sir. My name is Titu. You can call me either brother or just call me Titu. Okay, just don't call me sir. Request to all of you. Anybody has any question? If you have, let me know. If you don't have, I'll just close the stream. It was a very short stream. We have framed four trade. Yeah, four trade. We win on losing trade. Dada, any chance to get bank account freeze from future firms and how to prevent it? I really don't know, brother, in these technical issues. You can just give a message to Tamimi, Mahadi, the Discord. They will be able to help you, brother. They're the experts. I'm not an expert. I can only read these candles. You see this black and green candle with some kind of wick. I'm not an expert, but I just love to read these candles, how they're gonna be printed here, one after another. I only do know how to do that. But all other things, I'm a noob. I don't have the, I mean, kind of, I'm not an expert, is something like that. Not for me, brother. I'm getting 20 centimeter of snow today. It started snow already. Wow, man, I love snow. I love snow. I hope if you ask this to Mahdi or Tamimi, Sophia, Eiffel Trader, they will be able to help you through the Discord, brother. Kishore, ask them, okay? Hope you'll solve your problem. Anybody has any more question according to the price or the explanation I have done until now? If you have any question, let me know. No price is gonna be good until second week of February. Until second week of February, you have to wait. As long as it's December and January price action, it's gonna be shit. It's not good. It's not good. So I hope you'll understand the risk over here, and the rest is your choice. Okay. Thank you, Mahadi. By the way, Mahadi, how are you, brother? You're good, brother. Your health good. Is there anyone who is new, absolutely new, like you have joined our channel like this week? Is there anyone who is absolutely new over here? Don't trade in between 11:30 to 12:50. 11:30 to 12:50 is a trap. It's a trap. You'll fall into that trap, and it's kind of a loop. You'll keep losing over here. Please don't fall into that trap, a loop, losing loop. Let it go, come back again around 12:50, trade again. Just this small window, 1 hour and 30 minute time, sorry, 1 hour and 20-minute time frame is the trap. Don't fall into this trap, please. I'm fine, thanks. I hope the winter ends soon. I love winter. I hate winter. I love winter. I don't know. I love rain actually. I love rain. So what it means, unfilled farewell gap. Why give importance in life? If there is an unfilled gap, first of all, when you are going to expect, that is a long explanation. I don't have the time to go for this explanation, but when you are expecting some kind of unfilled gap, and if you find that unfilled gap, that's gonna help you to understand that this market is extremely bullish or extremely bearish. So if the gap is unfilled, the market is going toward your direction with speed. So there is two things that are connected. First, you will wait for an unfilled gap, and you will wait for the speed. If any of them are missing, either close your trade or trail your stop loss to the most logical level so that you don't get stopped out. Okay, that ICT himself. I'm really confused because only I subscribe to ICT himself, and it's showing that I'm his subscriber. Now, if it is ICT himself, I'm gonna cry, to be honest. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, guys, just and come on. I only subscribe ICT himself. How to see? No, it can't be ICT himself. Who is this guy? Subscribe actually. Your name made me subscribe, man. I mean, your name made me. Is that really ICT himself? Like Michael Addleston? No, man. Come on. I'm gonna cry if it is ICT himself. I'm gonna cry. Why I can't see his channel? Man, that's the real dude. ICT. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm really going to cry, man. Come on. Oh, seriously? Thank you so much, sir, for being here. I really don't know how to say. What should I say? I'm feeling like I'm going to cry. Oh man. Ah. So much, sir, for being over here. And I don't have any word to say because now I forgot everything, whatever I know. Thank you so much, sir, for teaching us this beautiful stuff. I feel like I have got my freedom because of you. The things you have explained for free. It's life changing. It's my life. It has changed my life for forever. I just don't know he's the real ICT or not, but because it's showing some kind of tick over there, I only subscribe to ICT himself, so it can be fake ID or something. If it is he, I really don't know what to say. Okay, thank you so much, Tonila. Thank you so much, guys, and I really appreciate it, man. By the way, guys, really, I'll take a screenshot, okay? Man, I, I mean, the greatest day in my life. Thank you so much, guys, and I really appreciate it, man. I don't have any word to say, to be honest. But thank you so much, sir, for being over here. Humbleness is a breath of pleasure, brother. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I framed some trade today actually. I really don't know. I should show this to you or not, but ah, come on, man. I'm really so happy, sir. It's my day in my life. From my beginning to until today, it's my day. Thank you so much, sir, for for doing everything for us. You were just awesome, a life changer for me and lot others. I have started to see this market with a logic. I know that I did a lot wrong. Kind of, I don't know anything. I know nothing about this market, nothing. But whatever I can see because of you. Because of you. Now, like previously, I always believed that this trading is absolutely gambling. It's gambling. It's gambling. But now I know it's not gambling. We can read this market tick by tick. It's possible by your concept, sir. The greatest day for me, man. I'll take just this screenshot. I'll share this to my Twitter. Thank you, Suzyvan. Thank you so much. I'm listening. Merry Christmas, sir. I wish you a good health and a good life. And I want you to teach us more and more and more. I mean, for me personally, I'm waiting for your book actually, because where you are going to disclose a lot other things. I'm really waiting for your book to publish. Hope inshallah I will get that very soon. I'm not gonna die without reading your book, sir. Merry Christmas. Thank you, guys. he is the real mentor. ICT is the mentor of every other mentor. So in social media, whoever is mentoring you or you are watching, ICT is the mentor of all other mentor. He is the mentor. And I keep saying that because, ah man, I don't know what to say. Merry Christmas. Okay, whatever. Thank you so much. And again, I'm really happy because the boss is here. The boss is here. The boss is here. Okay. I'm really happy. Really happy. So, according to ICT himself, please don't trade inside the lunch hour. You can't just listen to him 50% and ignore to him 50%. It's not gonna help you. It's not going to help you. So, if he tell you not to trade inside the lunch hour, don't trade the lunch hour. Now, if he trades, doesn't mean that you'll be able to trade. However, uh, so don't trade in this time. I believe from 11:30 to 12:50 for me, but according to himself, like until 1:30, you can take anything. I prefer go for any kind of trade after 12:50. It's good. It works for me. If it works for you, then go for that. I'm just a man. Continue with your stream, sir. I really appreciate it, sir. But to be honest, I won't be able to continue these things right now because when I can notice that you are here. I won't be able to continue this stream, sir. I'm really so excited right now. I'll call my mother actually right now. After closing the stream, I'll call my mother and I'll tell her that ICT was here to my live streaming. I'm so much excited, sir. But I really appreciate I I really love you, sir. To be honest, I really love you, sir. I love you for everything you have done to me without knowing that you are helping me and maybe some more other people. Ah, however, I forgot to say what to say. So we have framed some kind of buy today, but unfortunately that didn't work. So when I got stopped out, immediately I switched the bias because I saw this unfinished business or this law has cleared over here. Yeah, I've already talked about them. Uh, I just don't know. I'm gonna close the stream. Okay, I'm gonna close the stream. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so excited. I have to call my mother. I have to talk to her. Okay, and thank you so much, sir, for being over here. Just remember, sir, lot of people keep praying for you because whatever you have done to us, it's life changing. We have seen a lot of light in this dark area, in this dark market. It was gambling to me. Now it's logical to me. I mean, it is the one with ICT. What I will say in front of him, man, like, I have no word to say in front of him, to be honest. However, guys, yeah, I'm gonna close because I can't continue this. I can't do that. Just remember this buy side liquidity and obviously that buy side liquidity over here. That is gonna be the target for me if and only if this market fall, which is really nearly impossible, I think. But if it fall and come to this gap, then I will start to look for sell. Until then, I'm pretty much confident that this market is going to clear at least this buy side liquidity over here, which is kind of obvious buy side liquidity. And of course, after taking this buy side liquidity, I'll see how this market is going to trade this fair value gap, which is the best and most important fair value gap to me. Again, ICT is here. I don't know how to say this, but this last fair value gap, I will expect some kind of reaction from this last fair value gap. So it will trade either the low or the consequent crossment of this gap, and then some kind of reaction. Then we'll go through this gap and we'll take this high and we'll go for the standard deviation again for marking the all-time high. But until this market is not trading this gap, I'm not interested to think about any kind of fall. The way we are going higher, we'll keep going higher like that way until this gap. The first reaction we are going to expect is going to happen from this gap, which is a very obvious gap. However, right now market is trading in this old weak opening gap, which is right now trading. I don't think so it's important anymore. Uh, but still you can keep this, but as according to ICT himself, it's kind of like more than 60 days. So I don't need to look for this gap anymore. Like as it is like more than 60 days. So I really don't want to see this gap should react. This market should react this gap. Uh I'll just let this go. Okay. I'll just let this go and trade this. This is very kind. Give your mother my well wishes. So much, sir. I will must give that, sir. I must give that, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being aware and for noticing us. And Merry Christmas, sir. Thank you so much again. Yeah, that's all for today, guys. Please don't overtrade over here right now. Wait for the PM session, then choose your perfect trade. Okay, just don't go for the trade. Don't overtrade for the rest of the time. According to ICT himself, again, until second week of February, this is low probability. Whole December and January is a low probable area to trade. Wait until the second week of February. If you just follow this small advice, you will see a lot difference of this price action. In February, it will start to react the PTRA like a baby can trade this market, something like that way. If he has the idea about the ICT concepts. Otherwise, this January and December, most of the times, this market is very difficult to trade. A lot of the times, it's like consolidating inside a range. Like here, you can see here, almost every day is a consolidation. Almost every day around the morning session. Morning session here is the morning session. Morning session. Morning session. Morning session. So almost every morning session is kind of a consolidation here. So it is the PM session in that day, which I was absolutely wrong over here. If you guys remember, in that day I was wrong. Yeah, I think that was the day I was wrong. However, except that morning session, every single morning session is very difficult to trade. So please let the December and January go. Try to be very preservative, conservative over here. Go for one or two trade maximum. If it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, just let it go. Go outside, take a walk, spend your time with your family, watch something good. Don't watch this market anymore. Let it go, okay? Yeah, that is how you can trade. And yeah, thank you so much for being over here. I will see you on Monday, God willing. And I again, this is my best day in my life. In my life, best day because the guy changed my life. He was here and give me some kind of comment. So it has changed my life. Thank you so much, sir, for everything you have done. I really pray for you, for your good health, for your family's good health. I really pray for you, and inshallah, you'll be fine next 50 years. You'll be here with us. Until the next time, cheers, guys. Tata.